On the 4th of March last year, I took the ACT. And if you don't know what that is, I'll tell you later. When? You'll see. So anyway, March 4th is actually a very important day because according to Wikipedia, the ACT is a standardized test administered by the ACT, a nonprofit organization of the same name. The main 4 ACT test sections are individually scored on a scale of 1 to 36, and a composite score, the rounded whole number average of the 4 sections, is provided. So anyway, March 4th is a very important day because it's the day after my birthday. And I had been at a fancy water park and resort and arcade and convention center place, or whatever the heck it actually is, and I had been overcome by a terrible sickness. And you really do not want to be miserably sick and shaky when you have to take an extremely important test. During the weeks before, I took hour-long classes just to prepare me for the test, and now I was I was hobbling in the door of the school, pretty much incapacitated. The only thing that kept me going was the fire roaring underneath me, telling me that if I didn't get it done here and now, I would be screwed for the coming years. So with a blaring migraine, nausea that contends with the Minecraft effect, and a hand that I couldn't keep still for the life of me, I started working. I made it through the first test as quick as I could, and I just laid my head down on the table. I ended up falling asleep until the time we had to begin the next test. During this one, I had to take a bit more time because the questions actually required a bit of critical thinking, which was something I was quickly losing. But again, I made it through and only had to guess on the last couple of questions. So then came our break. And during the break, we got this gigantic oatmeal raisin cookie, my favorite kind of cookie. And I tried to eat it, thinking maybe it would make my nausea a bit better. It just happened that it did not make my nausea better, but instead somehow made me feel 10 times worse. So now, when I had to stumble back into the testing room, I was wobbling back and forth like a drunk. And when I finally fell into my seat, I just knew I wasn't going to make it. But even so, I continued to power through the English section. Eventually, it got to the point where every couple of minutes, I would just drop my head onto the table and could only lift it again once I thought of an answer. I ended up having to guess on like the last 15 questions of that section. Not a good thing. Now, finally came the writing portion. The last section of the ACT and an essay, which required my full attention for an extended amount of time, which about halfway through the essay, I realized I could not do. With the last few seconds I had, I finished my essay and rushed up to the administrators and managed to force out some of the first words I had said in the entire day. I'm gonna throw up. They rushed me out of the room, and in the moment before I projectile vomited all over the floor, they threw a bin under my face. Honestly, I don't remember much after that beyond laying in the nurse's office and waiting for something to happen. Thankfully, they were willing to take care of my test and everything. I didn't have to sign off or turn anything in or whatever people do at the end of the ACT. I just got to go home. 2 months later. So there I am, sitting in a McDonald's in Panama. It was a vacation, and I definitely could make a video about that trip because it was a lot more miserable than I let on. And I get an email on my phone. Your ACT score is ready. And I have this moment where it feels like lightning strikes my body. I'm brought back to the sickness and the misery, and up until this point, I hadn't really thought about what my score actually was. So I opened the website. Tension's building. So, yeah, pretty good surprisingly after how torturous it was. It immediately begged the question what my score could have been if I wasn't sick, but I'm pretty satisfied with 27, so I'm just gonna live with it. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Join the Discord and the Patreon, and bye!